A busy week for the House of Representatives Committee on Finance as they query the budget performance of NAFDAC, NMPC, immigration, and many others. I will speak to the Deputy Chairman of that committee to know more about his committee's 2 weeks interface with MDAs on budget performance. This is the Hallowed Chambers. I am Tijesu Adiri. Thank you for staying with us. Joining us on the Hallowed Chambers today is Honorable Saidu Musa Abdullahi, and he is the Deputy Chairman, House Committee on Finance. It's good to have you on the program.
Thank you for having me in your studio.
So let's go straight into the matters. Let's start with an overview of the MFFSP and the parameters. What is your committee's assessment of MDAs?
Once again, thank you. Let me start by quickly appreciating the Finance Ministry for keeping to time in terms of the submission of the MTF document. It is actually a requirement of the Fiscal Responsibility Act that the MFFSP documents are presented 4 months before the year, at the end of the financial year. So I must commend them for keeping time according to the expectation of the Act. The revelations have been so mind-boggling. They become so more worrisome. We thought we knew. In fact, before the MTF document as a committee, we do have engagement with MDAs in terms of monitoring of their revenue generation, and also in terms of the expectation of MDAs to remit to the CRF. Unfortunately, what we saw, what we have seen from the exercise, the interactive session we had with MDAs, like I said, is so worrying, it's mind-boggling, because it gives you this impression that people are becoming more emboldened in terms of holding on to the resources of the nation, these resources that the nation dearly needs in this material time. There's so many things that we saw going wrong with MDAs, and of course they will form part of the recommendations that we take to the floor of the House in order to see a quick change in the way certain things are done by the MDAs. There are laws guiding some of this, the operations, all of the operations of the MDAs, but you see a flagrant disregard for laws, extant laws, and even the Constitution of the Federal Republic of the country, 1999, as amended. So something we'll have to give. We must have to start thinking of how to approach these things differently, because as a country we cannot afford to continue in this on this pedestal, because it's a very perilous path. So we must have to take a very, very decisive action in terms of halting the emboldenment of MDAs in doing certain things with the funds of the Federation.
So are you saying in essence that when you met with these MDAs, you didn't get their full cooperation? Is that what you're saying?
Well, in some instances, we sent out invitations to lots of agencies, and a lot of them actually turned up. Of course, they do not have any option. Is a constitutional power given to the Committee of Finance, delegated power through the House of Representatives for us to actually have this interface with the agencies. So most of them turn up, and of course there are lots that didn't turn up, and we will take appropriate actions as soon as the House reconvene on those that didn't turn up to have an interactive session
what would this,
with the committee. Now, like I said, the worrying part of the exercise is the mind-boggling revelations that we were able to establish from certain aspects of the operations that principally have to do with remittances of funds to the Federation to the Federation account. Now, you have a situation where MDAs keep recycling projects over and over without regard for need of their operations. Now, what I mean by need, that you see things like purchase of furniture, purchase of vehicles, year in, year out. So what's it called? The clear signs you get from that is that something is not being done rightly from the MDAs. Now, our concern is to ensure the prudency and transparency in the way the resources of this country is being managed. Year in, year out, the figures keep going up in terms of the borrowing from the executive part. And I, for one, believe that this economy, the country, has the capacity to fund a 15 trillion naira size budget. We only we need to do certain things differently. Over the years, we've done some amendments to some of our laws, and which are actually geared towards enhancing the performances of the economy in terms of revenue generation. And of course, we're beginning to see some of the impacts, but really and truly, from what we have seen, the country can afford to do better than what it is doing. And we've seen some laxity on the part of supervision, from at times from modern ministries. And of course, some of these things, we take it back home, we take it to the assembly, we take it to the floor of the house to ensure that even our own committees sit up in terms of our oversight responsibility. I believe if we're able to do that, we will succeed in putting the country in the right pedestal in terms of ensuring that we get the best out of the capacity of the economy in terms of revenue generation.
So how about the MDAs that fail to show up? What kind of punishment do we see, taking effect on this set of people?
Now, what we have done as a committee is to temporarily suspend the exercise. As you may know, with the National Assembly is currently in recess. We, as a committee, we got the leave of the leadership of the House to conduct this exercise. So we're taking a break also. By the time we reconvene, we will give those agencies the opportunity to show their appearances and make their presentation. So by the time we do that, we will extend the invitations to them once more. By the time we do that and they turn up, the laws are very clear on what we'll do. Some of them will even go to the extent of stopping allocation of funds to them in the year 2022.
Okay, can you be more expressive when you're talking about the key observations and findings by your committee? Can you let us know what are the lapses that you found during your investigation?
The major findings of the committee, I don't want to preempt what our reports will be, but the major finding has to do with the reckless utilization of the resources of the country. We give an instance with the PMS under recovery, which has been the glaringly, it has been the major thrust of our engagement with various agencies. We had interactive session with critical stakeholders, relevant stakeholders in the downstream subsector, and one of the most worrying aspect of the revelation is the lack of harmony. You don't have consensus of data coming from the different stakeholders in the downstream subsector in terms of our daily fuel consumption. The figures you're getting from NMPC are quite different from what you get from PPRA, and but they're of course different from what you get from petroleum equalization fund. So this in itself should be a pointer to the fact that certain things are not being done rightly. We talk about smuggling as part of the challenges of petroleum distribution in this country today. And I gave an instance of an app, the Plane Finder app, where you can sit at your comfort zone to track movement of planes across the globe. So why can't we look at the possibility of getting technology to track movement of trucks? And in fact, if you see the kind of volumes that are being reported, you begin to wonder the possibility of smuggling 1,000 or even more trucks daily out of this country to neighboring countries. So what comes to mind is, do we even really get to import these petroleum products according to what they are reporting? We need to be more deliberate in what we want to do with the petroleum sector. Thank God we have the PIA, and hopefully some of these things we become a thing of the past in no longer time.
Okay, so following what you said, your committee referred many of these agencies to the Fiscal Responsibility Commission for reconciliation of their accounts. Yeah. What does this say about accountability and transparency on the part of these agencies?
Now, I think it's part of the challenge. Like I said, there's been weakness in terms of supervision, in terms of oversight, not necessarily from National Assembly, even from the modern ministries of some of these agencies, in ensuring that the right things are done. You have a situation where an agency, for instance, we give their report, and you see their operating surplus, which is expected to be remitted to the CRF. But unfortunately, they will sit tight on the funds. They will not remit. In fact, part of the revelation is that we have conflict even in some of the laws, extant laws that we have in the country. And as a committee, we've taken it upon ourselves to look at the possibility of quickly amending some of those acts. Agencies will leverage on their Establishment Act to say they have the right to spend their funds, extra budgetary funds that are not budgeted for. So, when you really and truly look at their acts, you see that they actually have something to lean on. And what is most obvious from all this is that the fact that most of these laws were passed, to serve certain interests, and these things are obviously against national interest. So it's a matter of responsibility on the part of the committee to ensure that we quickly amend some of those laws so that we ensure that there is full compliance to Section 60 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic.
Are we going to see that anytime soon?
Yeah, as soon as the House reconvene, we've taken note of some of those laws that are clashing. So as soon as we reconvene, by the grace of God, we'll hit the ground running and ensure that the right thing is done.
Your committee also emphasized the need for a meticulous budgeting process going forward. Is that not an indictment on the legislature that has the power of appropriation? Now,
like I said, there's always room for improvement, and I didn't exonerate the National Assembly. We also have to go back home. We take some of these lessons back to our various committees to ensure that when it comes to the budget, we need to sit up and ensure that fictitious things are taken out of the budget. Now, like I said, where you see budget items being recycled over and over, that should be a red flag. It should tell you that something is wrong somewhere. And we'll take it back to the committees. We'll sit up. We all have a critical role to play in ensuring that the right thing is done as far as the budget process is concerned. I must give it to the budget office. They've had engagement with critical stakeholders on how to see to the improvement of the budget process. So I think something is being done along that line. We only need to be quick, because the times are really, really there, and they're really demanding of true leadership. So we must be able to live up to the expectations of Nigerians, because we do not have anywhere to go. And the demands for these scarce resources keep going up every day. So the right thing to do is to ensure that the little resources that we have, we get the most out of them in terms of value.
That's a lot being said, but we still have a lot to talk about. We'll go on a short break right now, and we'll be right back. Okay. Stay with us.
At TVC Communications, we're all about our audience. Millions of viewers, listeners, and readers every day all around Nigeria.
Our 2 TV stations are among the most watched in Nigeria.
TVC News is our award-winning 24-hour national and international news channel headquartered here in Lagos, broadcasting live from our custom-built state-of-the-art news headquarters.
TVC, the top-rated family entertainment channel, is the place for fun, music, and information. With our breakfast show, Wake Up Nigeria, the all-female chat show, Your View, the best soaps and dramas from Nolly, Bolly, and Hollywood, music and entertainment blast, courtesy Eastplash, and of course, award-winning news and current affairs. It is all here.
With news bureau and studios around the country and the ability to go live anywhere, anytime, we are first for breaking news in Nigeria. Awarded the NMMA TV Station of the Year, TVC News is the station of choice for news that is first, accurate, balanced, and reliable every time. TVC and TVC News watched by over 4.5 million people in Nigeria every day on terrestrial, DTH, DTT, OTT, and available to viewers in the UK on Sky TV. Watch all of our world-class programs on TV, online, and on our app. TVC and TVC News, the best entertainment and news for Nigeria on TV and online.
And when you can't watch us, listen to us. 102.3 Max FM Lagos and 90.9 Max FM Abuja are now ranked among the most listened to radio stations in Nigeria.
Now, with over 1.5 million listeners every day, we're the people's favorite radio station. Best hit music, best on-air talent. Max 102.3 hit music for Lagos and Max 90.9 hit music for Abuja. We are your home for that fun, entertainment, and hit music.
In Lagos, TVC, our leading family entertainment TV channel, has a 47% market share. But this is just the start of our journey, as we plan to add even more services to entertain and inform our ever-growing audience. Thanks for being part of the TVC communications story.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, we have been speaking to Honorable Saidu Musa Abdullahi, and he is the Deputy Chairman, House Committee on Finance. Thank you for staying with us on the program.
It's a pleasure.
Some of the acts establishing these agencies have also been found to be faulty. Would there be some sort of legislative intervention to fix these issues and strengthen the institutions?
Yeah, as I stated earlier, we've taken note of some of these acts that are self-serving and against the national interest. And as soon as we reconvene, we'll look at a quick possibility of pushing for the amendments of the act, because a situation where agencies sit in their comfort zone to expand their IGR without necessarily going through the budget process, I think it's not something that we should condone as a country. We all have a role to play to ensure that we put a halt to that, and we can only do that by ensuring that the laws are amended, because however quick, however good your intentions are, if you don't have the right legal framework to back your actions, MDAs will always have something to fall back on. So as soon as we reconvene, we've taken note of some of those acts, and we'll push for their amendment. I'm sure all the members will be interested in seeing that the right thing is done.
Your committee has also raised concerns about actual quantity of fuel consumed daily. There seems to be no authentic data to support this. How can this be solved?
Now, like I said, I don't want to preempt what we'll do as a committee, what our recommendations will be. But the fact of the matter is, you have a situation at hand that is not sustainable, that is injurious to the economy of the country. From the revelations coming from GMD of NNPC, on monthly basis, the country loses over 150 billion naira to on the recovery of PMS. Look at the opportunity cost of what the country can benefit from such an amount, 150 billion naira. With all the things that are wrong with our infrastructure setup, look at the you take a yearly value of the under recovery, you have a figure that is almost 2 trillion naira. Look at the opportunity cost of what the country stands to gain from utilization of such funds. And like I said, the PIE will take care of some of these anomalies. But before then, as a committee, we must go back, sit with relevant committees of the House, and to see to look at the possibility of putting a quick halt to this trend. There was a report at a point, I think in the month of May or June, wherein it was said that about 103 million liters of PMS was loaded out of our depot. And one begin to wonder, what's the capacity, the loading capacity of the depots that we have? Where do we take some of these trucks to? At a point, I think it's still in existence. We have the Aquila project, which was championed by the Petroleum Equalization Fund, which was actually geared towards monitoring the movement of trucks from loading point to the receiving depot. I think we can leverage on that experience to extend the horizon. You know, we extend the monitoring to even to the point of a discharge of this product at the retail outlet. The fact of the matter is, like I said, this is not sustainable, and as a country, we must take a decision. Now, you have, in some cases, you have stations, retail outlets that from all glaring indices cannot sell more than 1,000, 2,000 liters. But you see truckloads being sent to such a retail outlet. That should be a red flag. That should send a signal that something is wrong somewhere. And these are some of the engagements that we had with the stakeholders in the downstream sector. They have their responsibility. DBR has a responsibility in ensuring that whatever truck leaves the receiving depot gets to the retail outlets. And I had to put a question through to them that we see them coming to life during scarcity to hold diversion of products from retail outlets to wherever. But once there is a glut in the subsector, you don't see the visibility of DPR. So people need to wake up to their responsibilities. We have laws, and these laws shouldn't be just on paper. We must be able to lift the laws off the paper in order to ensure that the right thing is done.
It was a bit of a struggle getting the NMPC's GMD to appear before the committee, but at the end of the day, it seemed like your committee was impressed with his performance. In what areas do you think they did well? Well, you see a man that is on top of his game, somebody that is well acquainted with all the operations around his office, and somebody that is willing to contribute his own quota in ensuring that some of the challenges that we're seeing in the industry today, we provide solutions together to the challenges. So I think he made a very powerful and very, very impressive presentation before the Committee of the House. And we actually understood, because of the demand of his office, why he couldn't show appearance when we wanted him to come. But when we demanded that he appeared, he actually came, and the presentation, like I said, was wonderful. And I think together we'll be able to provide solution to the challenges that I highlighted earlier. Well, your committee has adjourned sitting for another week. What should Nigerians expect once you resume? Well, we're taking a break, and it is not the end of the exercise yet. We will still give opportunity to other agencies that have not appeared to appear by the time we convene. Like I said, the House and of course the National Assembly is presently, the two houses are presently in recess. So we felt the members of the committee also deserve to take some rest, and more so that we have ample time to conclude this exercise before the presentation of the budget. By the time we come back, at least we will take another 1 week to sit with the agencies that have not appeared. There are some that we asked to do a reconciliation with Fiscal Responsibility Commission. We expect to get some of those reports by the time we reconvene, and whatever input we get from those things will form the basis of the recommendations that we push to the House. We have some projections from the Ministry. Of course, the Ministry has the full responsibility of preparing the MFFSP documents. We've gotten their input as far as the document is concerned. There could be possibility of modifying some of the projections. Of course, we have to look at the realities of today and the possibilities of the nearest future. So we will sit as a committee and take decisions that will be for the benefit of the whole country. That's our program for this week. Do follow me on social media. Search for Tijesu Adeoye. Also, you can watch a repeat of this episode on Sunday and subscribe to TVC News YouTube channel to get updates on the Hallowed chambers and more. Thank you for watching. See you next time.